Hello, and welcome to another episode of Aselia the Eternal. Today we have mission 8, I believe. And this is a pretty interesting mission. It's not super challenging. We have 16 turns to make it down to Kira no Kiro, which 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes, and then the last node is a continuation mission. So realistically, we could probably do that in 5 or 6 turns if we really tried to. So, there's no gimmick here, there's no extra mechanic or ambush spawns or anything of that nature. This is really just a mission where we get to finally train up some of our units. I know I mentioned in the past couple of missions that the requirements of the game seemed awfully tight. And what I meant by that was, it seemed like we were really reliant on being able to do exactly the right amount of damage. And I was kind of confused on whether or not there was a... I don't know, it seemed like it would have been really easy to put yourself in a situation where you couldn't win certain missions because you just didn't level up the right units, for example. Fortunately, we've managed to persevere so far. Maybe that means I made the right choices, maybe that means I made the wrong choices. But we finally have a chance to bring some of our units back into the fold, so to speak, and bring them back into... more into relevancy, because while we do have, you know, Halion, most of our units are level 6, level 7 with a level 5. And, given a good 5, maybe even 6 turns of leveling our units, we may be able to make things easier for ourselves in the upcoming missions. That being said, it's also very possible that the game is planning for us to do this, in which case we will be exactly where we were to begin with. But either way, this is a good opportunity to show some of our units some love, and maybe take some of the units that are underperforming and give them enough levels so that they can begin overperforming, or just performing in general. So first things first, we're going to make some changes to our formations here, because these are the formations that we ended the previous mission with, which may not be necessarily the best formations for this mission. So we're going to move Nanaru to Formation 1, we're going to keep Formation 2 exactly the way that they are. Formation 3 can stay the way that it is. And... no, I'm sorry. Formation 2 gets Shiah, Formation 3 gets Aselia, and Formation 4 gets Selia. You know, I really have to say, I'm not sure I agree with the naming scheme for some of these spirits. We have Halion and Helion, and then we have Aselia, and then we have Selia. I guess it's realistic, but it does make it kind of difficult to tell everybody apart, you know? Anyway, we have plenty of time, but we're still going to try and be reasonably efficient. We will actually finish this mission early because we will actually use all of our ether. So, let's get started. Now, we could build a training center right away, but we actually have a level 3 laboratory that's going to finish next turn. A level 3 laboratory, if we look at it, decreases construction turns by 2. So we can wait 1 turn to get an additional 1 turn off the build cost of our training facility. So we'll do that on turn 2. Alright, we're going to attack with Formation 1. Since we are stuck on a town tile, we can be really aggressive here. So we're going to use Leap Attack and we're going to use Firebolt. Same deal as before, Yuuto is tanky enough that he can take both of these hits. Why did I do that? That was really silly. Obviously, you're supposed to have Flame Shower equipped. Oh well. It shouldn't matter in the long run. But that's really funny, actually. We're not going to make that same mistake again. And by not make that same mistake again, we're not going to do that. We're going to do something else entirely here. We're going to play it by ear. It shouldn't matter. Accurate block, double swing, ice banisher. I was obviously supposed to have Flame Shower equipped instead of Firebolts. This would have made these next couple of rounds of combat a lot simpler. Do as I say and not as I do, etc., etc. I don't feel like re-recording this, so I'm just going to let it run. It should not matter in the grand scheme of things. Because we have plenty of time and a lot of flexibility. This is not a tight mission by any stretch of the imagination. It is in fact incredibly flexible, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not upset that this is a flexible mission, because I do think that there's a argument to be made that giving the player freedom to choose how to build their characters or build their party is in and of itself a form of flexibility. So we're gonna make a couple changes here. We're gonna move Shiah to formation 4 because Shiah will attack this attacker and Orupha will kill this defender or kill this supporter. Gotta drink water. Yeah, plus 30% in green there helps a lot. And then we'll kill with F4. Or F2, I should say. We're a little bit behind the curve here, but we should be alright in the grand scheme of things. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to defend with formation 1 and hopefully not make the exact same mistake that we just made, because that will be very silly if we do it again. Okay, we can take one more hit like that. Okay. Surely we can pull this back from the jaws of defeat, right? And then we get our lab. So, first things first, turn 2, we immediately want to build a lab, or a training facility here. It doesn't matter who we use, training facilities take the same amount of time regardless, I believe. This gives us a build time of 2 instead of 4, which is quite nice. And then we want to attack with whomst do we want to attack with? I think we want to attack with these guys. Leap attack 2 plus flame shower should kill this enemy in 1 round of combat, and that should put us more or less exactly where we need to be on track with my guide. Hopefully. Ah, I forgot that she attacks attackers. That's right. It shouldn't matter. Esperia should be able to survive at least 1 fireball. Not if we don't kill. Good lord. Wow, that does a lot of damage. Holy. Well, the good news is that it shouldn't matter, but it sure does look sloppy, doesn't it? You know what? We're just gonna pretend like this was the plan the whole time. Don't look at it, don't think about it. Just pretend that this was the plan the whole time. Like I said, this mission is pretty lax. So even just totally whiffing our first round of combat isn't really going to put us back too much, because the strategy here accounts for quite a bit of downtime. But it does, it doesn't look good. Let me put it that way. It doesn't look good. Alright, we're going to block here with Yuuto. Let's see how much damage we take here. We start at 1625. Okay, we can take at least 1 more hit. Yeah, at least 1 more. Ooh, look at that. Almost. Oh wait, no, she attacks again. Great. So, for context, we are basically back on pace with the guide, although I think we've maybe taken a little bit more damage than we were supposed to. Alright, we should be able to survive this again. These idiots have a red spirit defending. Stupid. And then we defend again. This unit has Harvest, so they're actually not really a threat to Yuuto at all here. We want to make sure that we swap to Leap Attack 1 so we get full usage out of Nelie. I still haven't decided if it's Nelie or Nelie. Because they're not necessarily Japanese, although a lot of them are. Like, Aselia and Esperia are not Japanese names, but Nanaru and Himika are. I don't know. And they heal for basically nothing because they haven't taken any damage yet. Isn't that nice? Nelie continues to be actually very strong because it turns out being able to attack 3 times per round of combat is pretty good. I think she should kill here. I don't think they have another defensive ability. Yeah, look at that. Pretty good. Okay. So we've got 2 enemies with Fireball. I think... Well, let's stick to the script, I guess. We're gonna move F4 down. And we're gonna move F1, F2, and F3 up. The idea being that F4 will be able to chip these enemies on the defensive turn. I wonder if we do something like this, if this will work, actually. Let's try it. It's kind of ironic that even on one of the easiest missions we've had in the entire game, I still managed to screw up the strategy. 300 damage, not too bad. Now, can she take this hit? She can, look at that. It all works out in the end. And Esperia might even be able to kill here, although I doubt it. Almost. Oh well. Then they'll attack me here. With this, I want to use my... I think we do it like this time. Orupha should be able to survive this no problem. Wow, that was closer than I was expecting it to be. Okay. And we are right back where we need to be. Look at that. Ideally, these formations would all be dead, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? I have to say, I prefer the way they say Wind Whisper to the way they say Harvest. Okay, so we're a little bit desynced from where we should be, but nothing that we can't manage. Training facility finishes right on time. We are on turn 4, so we're going to move F4 north, and we are going to train. Well, let's talk about our units here before I go into training. We have been so far able to keep up with the turn expectations of the game, but there have been multiple points where I have remarked that I feel like it's very easy to put yourself in a situation where you just cannot meet the turn requirements in this game. So that being said, having a mission like this where we can kind of just freely upgrade the units at our disposal is actually really great. Because it means that we can take some of the units that are underperforming and bring them back in line with the rest of the party. Now, I did some testing here to see who I felt like got the most reasonable upgrades or the most effective upgrades. I'm not going to say that these are the best possible combination of levels that you could give your characters, but I think that they're pretty effective because we get some pretty high quality moves, and we bring a lot of the more powerful units even more powerful and make the less powerful units more in line with what we're expecting here. So we're definitely going to train Yuuto. Yuuto gets 2 abilities that are really, really good, and we're definitely going to train Esperia, because Esperia is kind of falling behind in terms of her defensive capabilities, really just because she doesn't have the bulk that I want her to have compared to someone like Halion, for example. Other than that, the rest of this is kind of just elective, but I'll show you what I get when I level up these characters, and hopefully that will justify my decision a little bit more. So let's train. We're going to train Yuuto here, and we're going to use Aishus. We are going to train Aselia, and we're going to use Grena Soy. And we are going to train Selia using Yumina Ice. So right off the bat with Yuuto, we get a new version of Violent Block. Now, his defensive capabilities are by no means his strongest features, but an additional 60 potency every 2 attacks, every round of combat is pretty good, right? Nothing to scoff at when you already have this much HP. And then Aselia gets Impulse Blow 1, which is actually a really big get for her, because this does a lot of damage. Selia gets Impulse Blow 2, which is not bad, although I wish we didn't have to overwrite Impulse Blow 1. I think for Selia in particular, you could probably justify having Impulse Blow twice, because the potency for both of them is so much lower than normal. But it is still an upgrade, and Selia is kind of underperforming if we're being honest. Okay, now we need to make a little bit of an adjustment because I had Shiah and Selia swapped originally. I had to make that change because I messed up the first turn. But we're on turn 5, and we're going to start training Yuuto again using Aishus. We're going to train Aselia using Grena Soy. We are going to train Esperia, right? Because Esperia is like my highest priority character to level up. And we're going to train Shiah using Yumina Ice. Okay, and so here is the prize. We get Frenzy. This is a 1000 potency attack. We can only use it twice. We can only use it once per round of combat, but this is basically a get out of jail free card, right? This will delete pretty much almost every enemy in the game at this point, especially if they are not a defender. This does like 1200 to 1300 damage as a crit. It is a lot. And then Aselia gets Ice Banish for 3. Really, the big reason why we're leveling her up is Impulse Blow. But Ice Banish for 3 plus a little bit extra bulk is still quite good. Esperia doesn't get anything yet, which I think is there to kind of dissuade you from giving her levels early. But we will very quickly get her to a point where she is getting a lot of very good skills. And then Shiah doesn't get anything yet. Alright, so this is turn 6. We want to move Orupha to F2, and we want to switch Nelie and Selia. I do think we want to give Nelie... maybe not. So we've already leveled up Selia once. We're on turn 6. So we want to train Esperia, Selia, Himika, and Helion. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to swap Shiah and Selia, right? Because I want to level up Shiah one more time. This will let me train everybody that I want to train. Turn 6. So we're going to train Esperia using Aishas. We're going to train Shiah using Yumina Ice. We're going to train Himika using Liriana. Now Himika, I'm not sure is the perfect choice, but she is performing pretty well, so I want to give her some extra help. And then we're going to train Helion with Grenasoy. Helion is another one of those characters that's been underperforming. She has not been doing a ton of damage, but she does work well as sort of a backup defender. And so giving her some extra bulk is not going to hurt, right? We get Harvest at level 8. And then we get the real prize here, Impulse Blow 1 for Selia. Now, as you can tell, as you might be able to notice here, this does elemental damage. It's a 500 potency Impulse Blow. It does elemental damage and it targets supporters. This ability is very good. Nothing from Himika, but that's fine. And then Helion just gets a little bit more bulk. Turn 7, we want to be able to train Himika, Esperia, Selia, and Helion. So we're going to swap Selia and Shiah again. So we're back where we were supposed to be. We're going to train Himika. This gives her with Liriana. Liriana Yogo? I can't tell. Yogo, I think. We're going to train Esperia with Yumina Ice. We're going to train Selia with Grenasoy. And again, we're really just kind of training Selia in order to make her a little bit more competitive. And we're going to train Helion with Aishas. Nothing yet for Himika. And we're starting to see some really useful skills with Esperia here. Accurate block 4, not 5, is a huge upgrade because it means that she is now no longer taking damage from average blue spirit impulse blows, which has kind of been the big Achilles heel for her so far. She now totally neutralizes them, or almost totally neutralizes them. And that's even without the extra bulk from her promotion. Helion gets a nice little bonus here, which is Weaken. Weaken targets defenders. Or rather, it targets attackers. So we can use it with someone like Halion, for example, to prevent the amount of damage that she deals. It's a nice bonus to have. I might use it occasionally. But I do feel like kind of offense is the best defense. So far, we've been able to make it through the game without needing a utility like this. I'm not sure if I expect that to change. Although, for the first time ever, Helion is positive in terms of her actual attack percentage, which is nice. And now we are on turn 8. We're going to train Esperia, Selia, Helion, and Himika. So we're where we need to be for this. We're going to train Esperia with Yumina Ice, We're going to train Selia with Lidiana Yogou. We are going to train Helion, not Halion, Helion, with Grina Soy. And we are going to train Himika with Aishus. All right. So, at level 10, we get about 1,000 more HP. So we are now just as tanky, if not tanky. We're actually significantly tankier than Halion. So Esperia is back to being probably the best character that we have access to. And she also gets Power Strike. So again, I made the point in the very beginning of this sort of playthrough that once we gain access, or assuming we gain access to all-rounders, Esperia may be our best option for that because she's tanky, she does good damage, and she can heal herself. She is very difficult to deal with, and she is often held back by the fact that her allies are weaker than she is. Especially with Power Strike 1, she's now doing more damage than a lot of our blue spirits are, because she has 134% attack, right? Like, she is very competitive, even though she takes a lot of damage from fireballs. Selia gets Ice Banisher 3, which is a nice utility to have. We don't need it yet, but I'm sure we will need it in the future, so this way we just have it just in case. Helion doesn't get anything, and Himika promotes. She gains access to Double Swing 2. Double Swing 2, unfortunately, is a limited skill, so we have to overwrite Double Swing 1, which is a bummer. But that extra 400 potency, so that extra 100 potency that is now attacking twice, does actually make a difference. It just actually does significantly more damage most of the time. And she got a little bit of extra bulk. Unfortunately, the green spirits get a lot of HP when they promote. Most everybody else doesn't. It is what it is, but the levels are nice, right? Okay. So we're all level 9. F3 is AAH. Okay. We're going to start moving everybody south again. So that we can get set up for the boss. And we are now fully back onto the guide. We recovered all according to plan this entire time. We are going to swing this around a little bit. This doesn't necessarily matter, but we'll do it just to be safe. I did try giving Halion 1 level. It didn't seem like it made much of a difference. We actually don't have... I think our upper range right now for characters is like level 12. So we can't actually get much stronger than Halion is currently. But I am hopeful that she gains access to Accurate Block 3 relatively soon. Because that's going to make a big difference in her ability to survive a lot of damage. But she's still very good because she's quite bulky and she can heal herself. Halion maybe needs a little bit more support than a character like Aselia or Esperia does. But she had her time in the spotlight, right? Like, she definitely carried us. Definitely carried us through mission... What was that? Mission 6 and 7? You know, she had her time, right? She pulled her weight, she justified herself, right? She made an argument for why she's in this game. So, I can't really hold it against her that she's not perfect, right? She's not the one of the main heroines, Esperia is. I guess it makes sense that she would be a little bit underwhelming. And then we're going to be attacked here, And I want to use this, I think. We're going to swap to leap attack 1 so we can preserve our charges, but we do want to use flame shower here. Helion can take this attack because she's got a little bit more bulk all of a sudden. I would really like to get another defensive skill for Helion in particular, because I feel like that's kind of where most of her value comes from. Either that, or if she can get like the Black Spirit version of Impulse Blow, maybe she'll pull ahead and be more relevant, but right now we're kind of using her because we don't have someone else to use, if that makes sense. I forgot again that Shiah is going to target the attacker here, so we're losing a little bit of damage, and by a little bit I mean we're losing quite a lot of damage, but again it doesn't matter because we've got plenty of time. We are exactly where we are supposed to be. I'm not worried about it. And I think Shiah might kill here anyway, actually. Yep, just barely. Okay, so it all works out. Alright. So, we are exactly where we're supposed to be here. I could have stayed and trained a little bit more, but we're about to run out of ether, so we'll get a couple of more training right before this mission ends, but, you know, we want to make sure that we were in position first. So we're on turn 10, we're going to swap some characters around. We're going to swap Selia with Nelie. We're going to swap Nanaru with Halion, and we're going to move Nanaru to F4. And we're going to move everybody southwest. And these are totally new enemies yet. We have not fought these enemies yet. They are at full health for what little that matters. I don't believe there is actually a time limit here in practice. We want leap attack 1. We want inspire. And we want inspire because Ice Vanisher is annoying. We want leap attack. I'm going to say use leap attack 2 here. Nelie is not going to be our primary damage carry. Yes, she is. No, she's not. So we're going to use Himika, Yuuto, and Shiah for the final enemy. So we can use leap attack 2 here for Nelie. I'm hopeful that she gets a new ability soon. But she's been trained like once already, and she'll be trained again. We use Inspire here because it can't be interrupted by Ice Vanisher. That's it. That's the only reason why. We combine that with Leap Attack 2. She should do quite a bit of damage. Nelie should do quite a bit of damage specifically. I am sleeping. She did almost 500 damage. That's not going to be enough. More than 500 damage. But even if she doesn't block this one, it's not going to be enough. It's close, but not going to be enough. We needed her to block once instead of blocking twice. But it is what it is. Let's see. We're going to defend with F4. Impulse Blow, Flame Shower. We can eat this dark Impact, no problem. This enemy is going to attack us twice. Esperia's weakness is still that she only blocks once per round of combat, but she is so much tankier than she was a couple turns ago. Which is not to say that we didn't spend a lot of resources on her, because we absolutely did spend a lot of resources on her. We leveled her up 4 times. But the return of investment that we got from that is, I think, exponential. I don't know that... excuse me. I don't know that there is any other character that we could have leveled up that would have gotten this nearly the same benefit from those levels. Even someone like Aselia, who got Impulse Blow, kind of plateaus a little bit after that. But Esperia gets the extra abilities, right? So she got Harvest, Accurate Block 4, and Heavy Blow, I think it's called. But she also got a bunch of extra HP. So I think Green Spirits continue to be maybe some of the best characters in the game. And then we're going to block with F4 here again, for this kind of the same reasons. Flame Shower is our best bet at bypassing the defense boost from Wind Whisper, which is a pretty hefty defense boost. The alternative would be just preventing them from using Wind Whisper in the first place, but I find that so far, at least, using Flame Shower has been better than using Ice Banisher on Wind Whisper. That might change in the future, but at least currently... oh, excuse me. At least currently, this seems to be a better strategy, for me at least, in my current allocation of resources and current allocation of levels. Although Selia is still doing pretty good damage through the Wind Whisper. Mostly because Black Spirits are not very good in isolation. If Mission 5 showed us anything, it's that Black Spirits are really dangerous when you're fighting a bunch of them all at once, and are maybe a little bit less dangerous when you're fighting them one at a time. And look at that, she does kill the defender, so it works out. Alright. We've got F1 here. We've still got this Ice Banisher enemy, so we're going to attack with the exact same setup. Leap Attack 2, Accurate Block 2, Inspire 1. She should kill this defender and severely wound this supporter. Oh, excuse me, it is definitely my bedtime. Inspire is an interesting ability because while it does technically increase the amount of damage that you take, the fact that it heals you means that it kind of pays for itself, weirdly. So that did 500 damage, so we're probably looking at 600 damage for the next 2 attacks. Anyway, Inspire almost pays for itself in a lot of ways. Especially with a character like Halion that has such high HP That 20% heal actually ends up being quite a lot of sustain. Alright. We attack with F3 here. Which is supposed to have a Halion in it. I guess I messed that up. Which is gonna be Himika, Helion, Aselia. And we're gonna give her swing 2 so we don't use all of our double swing charges. Swing 2 is still gonna do plenty of damage because it does elemental damage. And it seems like elemental damage is better than physical damage almost all the time. That's probably not actually true, but anecdotally that seems to be the way that this works. And Helion should be able to live this hit. Hopefully. I guess it actually doesn't matter if Helion can live the hit, because she's not going to get hit at all. Funny how that works. So I guess it actually doesn't matter whether or not Helion is an F3 or an F2. And we attack with F2 to finish off this enemy. We've got leap attack 1. This seems really odd. But follow the guide, right? You know, if I can't do this mission on first try, I don't know that there's any hope for me. Because, well, this mission's pretty easy. I think there are probably going to be people who maybe struggle to get the SS rank on the previous couple of missions. And realistically, maybe they will struggle to get SS rank on this mission as well. But I do think that this mission works pretty well as a sort of catch-up mechanic. It gives you plenty of time, it gives you easy access to a base. So if you find that you are struggling or have been struggling, if you had to pick any mission to not get SS rank on, I would just say sit here and use all of your ether to level up your characters as much as you can, because that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to use leap attack 1 here. SEN. Alright, they're going to attack us now. Let's see what we get. So we're going to defend here with F3. We want Fireball. And we want Impulse Blow. Yeah. I don't think this matters. I would be surprised if she did not one-shot at least one of these enemies. This Impulse Blow should attack twice. So it should be like an 1,000 potency attack, if I remember correctly, if not more than that. We haven't gotten Dark Impact yet. I do wonder if maybe Helion would be better if she did have Dark Impact. But I guess I don't know that for sure. I know we do get other black spirits. I'll be interested to see how they play. Yeah, see, that did 800 damage. Like, Impulse Blow is deceptively strong. Like, it's already a strong attack, but the fact that it attacks twice, I don't think it does the full damage. I think it maybe does, like, 2/3 potency per hit. But that's still, like, you know, effectively probably twice what you're expecting to get out of it most times. So for Aselia, it's a 620 potency attack. She just did 420 twice. I don't know. I guess that could be 300 twice. I don't know. It just seems... It seems deceptively strong. And then F4... We'll put Leap Attack 2 here. Flame Shower. Wind Whisper doesn't matter because there's no defender here. Look at that. And look at that. We defeated the enemy formation. Alright. So, we're on turn 12. We got two decisions to make. First of all, we need to decide who's going to fight this continuation battle. And second of all, we have a little bit of ether left, so we need to decide who we're going to continue training. I'm not going to take until the full 16 turns, but I will spend an extra turn waiting so that we can get 3 more units trained. That will spend basically the vast majority of our ether and will still allow us to finish 2 turns early, which is nice. So, for the continuation battle, I think I want to use Shiah and I want to use Himika. And this actually works out pretty well because Shiah and Himika are relatively low mind compared to the rest of the party, with only Nelie and Selia really being in the 80s. Everyone else is in the 90s. Well, Nanaru's in the 70s, but that's fine. She's high enough. So that's the team that we're going to use for the continuation battle. And we're going to move the rest of these guys to the northeast. Alright. Now, this is turn 13. If this wasn't a continuation battle, we would want to be attacking right now. But since it is a continuation battle, we can afford to take our time. So instead, we're going to move formations 2, 3, and 4 back to Himuna, or Hiemuna. And we're going to wait one more turn. By waiting one turn, we get to train 3 extra characters. The characters that I want to train are Nelie, Selia, and Nanaru. We're going to swap Aselia with Selia. So we can train Nelie in Formation 2, Selia in Formation 3, and Aselia in Nanaru in Formation 4. And we should be kind of where we're planning to be here. Make sure we actually train before we just wander off. Train Nelie with Aishus. Train Selia with Grena. And train Nanaru with Lidiana. I would love to be able to train Halion, but she doesn't have, because this would give her a promotion. We don't have enough ether for that, just barely. I did give Nanaru several levels, actually, when I was in testing. And she actually got like 1,000 HP at level 10, but she didn't get a new red skill, which is not ideal. She gets Water Shield 3. She gets Mind Shield 2. Well, you know, I messed up. I should have attacked. You know what? It feels bad, but it's not the end of the world. Again, do as I say, not as I do. This looks a lot better with the strategy. I'll have it in the description, like normal. I can't imagine that one turn will matter, but what do I know? Maybe it will. Anyway, this is what we're gonna do. I don't think that the turn matters, but it does kind of sour the whole mission. I was just not paying attention. Well, I thought I was paying attention, but obviously I wasn't doing it very well. What I should have done is I should have trained on turn 14, and then when we started the next mission, all of those characters would have leveled up. But I digress. Now, I actually don't know if it matters that we have characters in Hiemuna, or Hiemna? Hiemna? I forget how they say it in the game. I don't know if that matters. I don't know if we maintain the current formation layout, or if we spawn back in Ricarios or wherever, but I figured it couldn't help to end the mission with characters ready to act. So that's what the plan is here. And if you'll notice, if this had not been a continuation battle, it would have taken us probably about 3 turns to kill these enemies anyway. So we would have been right on track for 16 turns. But I do think that the continuation battle here is a real bone that they give to the player, because it means that you can take a really slow team and just outlast the enemies here, and as long as you can defeat them without dying, you can effectively take, 10 turns to kill the enemy, because of the continuation battle, right? It all happens in one turn. So you have quite a lot of options here, in my opinion. And I believe Himika should just one-shot this supporter right here. Because she's doing, like 1,000 damage. Yeah. And then, we don't get to use Frenzy, but we also don't need to. We're just going to use Impulse Blow here, which is going to just absolutely massacre this enemy, and then Fireball is going to do quite a lot of damage here as well. This does a lot of damage. Whew. I mean, Shiah was already hitting pretty hard, but she now has an ability that can target supporters directly in addition to targeting attackers directly. She has a surprising amount of utility in formations. She's quite strong. I'm actually quite impressed with her. And that's mission 8, I think. Kiro no Kiro. Daskatoron. マロリガン共和国へとつながる道を手に入れたことになります。攻めるにも守るにも
重要な拠点となるでしょう。作戦成功です。
This bums me out a little bit. I might honestly go through and... You know what? I'll just commit to it. I'm... It's fine. It'll be what it is. But, yeah. That was mission 8. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Hope this mission was helpful to anybody who's struggling. I do think it's a good opportunity to build yourself back up, especially if you haven't been training. Like, I could have... if I had known, I might not have built that level 5 ether converter, for example. And that would have given me a little bit more a couple more turns for training, perhaps. But I think it all comes back around in the end. I think if you've been really racking your head over this and you haven't been able to level up a lot of your characters because you've just needed every bit of action economy that you could get, which is honestly kind of the situation that we were in, to be fair, I think this mission is really going to be helpful. And if you're not in that situation or you don't care, then it's just an easy mission that you don't have to think that hard about. I mean, you saw how I played this. I played this... I mean, I misplayed since turn 1, and I still finished below the turn count. So I think it's very doable for most players. Okay, that's all I got for tonight. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.